Hello, welcome back to MFWoodShop. Normally every year I do a kind of a shop tour and kind of the progression of the shop every year. Not only for you guys, but for me as well. This year I didn't do a whole lot of shop projects and shop upgrades. So I figured I would go through, kind of do a quick walkthrough and show you what I learned to really like and learn that I really don't care for. So let me do a little walkthrough. All this stuff you'll see later. So the miter station, I still really like. The downside in my particular situation and my workflow is when I actually want to use the miter station, oh, my stuff is sitting in the way because I use it as a table. I don't know if that's because I don't have enough assembly table room or if it's just a bad habit that I got. It's just something I got to work on. In reality, I don't use the miter saw a whole lot. This particular one's just not 100% accurate. It's great for rough cutting, but accuracy and perfect 90 and it's so-so. The thing that I did change up here to this, I had my chargers rotated out this way and it was just taking up too much room, so I rotated that whole assembly back flat against this little wall here, and it gave me a whole lot more room. And the idea of that was I would set stuff up here instead of down here. That hasn't worked so far. So I think that's more of a me problem versus a design problem, but I still really like the miter station wall, particularly still like the drawers. So with the drawers, I find myself going to this one quite often. Of course, it's my sandpaper. I really like the way this is set up. These are just little cardboard bins that I got from the auto parts store when I worked there. And they actually fit in really snug, so I'm not going to take them out. But they're really just cardboard bins, and it works perfect for me for the sandpaper and anything sandpaper related. I've still got plenty of room back here in the back for, like belt paper and, miscellaneous belts and stuff like that. So I really like the way that drawer's working out for me. These next two drawers, they're okay. I got some Kaizen foam in here and some tools that I don't go to very often. The downside is this is a big drawer and I'm kind of wasting it with some of the stuff that I don't go to very often. So this may be rearranged and used for something else. And the same thing with this one as well. It's kind of tools that I don't go to every day. This is where all my pocket hole stuff is for now. And this other piece of the other part of this Kaizen foam, it's just stuff that I don't use that often. The big drawers, I don't go into this that often, but this is the stuff that I designed this drawer for, so I'd have somewhere to actually put this. This drawer here, biggest disappointment to me. I thought it was a good idea at the time. I made this little sliding tray, used some drawer slides, and I got the back half of Kaizen foam, the front half of Kaizen foam, and then an extra tray for stuff. But this is what happens to the drawer. I'm out here working, I just throw the stuff in there. I don't even put it back in the Kaizen foam. So workflow for me, this ain't working, so I'm gonna have to do something with that. This one it was actually kind of designed for this. This is for all my little jigs and templates, and I got certain jigs that do certain things. This one's laid out perfect for a overlay hinge door. I even got the model number for the hardware that I use. This one is for, I 3D printed that for door handle to, you know, to separate the door, where to drill the holes for the drawer pulls. You know, I got the drawer pulls that you buy. This was for something, I don't really remember. You know, just jigs and things that I've used in the past. This is another hinge, door hinge jig that I made. You know, stuff like that. And that was kind of made for that, really. This one just has some miscellaneous stuff, mostly inlays, or I'm sorry, veneer stuff, and I've been kind of storing that there. It was originally meant for, you know, paint rollers, paint sticks, stuff like that, but it's just not big enough for that, so that's not going to work for the paint supply. And again, this was made for a big circular saw and belt sander, but I'm actually using it for a rolled up extension cord in the belt sander, so that works pretty good. Over here, these drawers has not changed. The only thing that I've changed since the past is this one. I set this one up for my rotary tool, and I did a video on this. I'll link some of this stuff in the description below. Still got router bits up here, and I still got my smaller corded tools down here. I got a palm router, blow gun or heat gun, and you know, stuff like that, jigsaw. And this is where I ended up putting my big router and circular saw. The top drawer, I still think it's a good idea, but it still might be a waste of a big drawer. I put my keyboard, it was supposed to be for my camera stuff and audio stuff, and keyboard and mouse for the computer that's stored up top. Still think it's a good idea, but it might be a waste. It just really depends on your shop and your setup. This one, I go to this quite often. This is all my pneumatic stuff. Particularly the nail guns is what I go to, but I do have a couple automotive stuff up there that I use once in a while. And these plastic bins, they work out great because some of the air tools will leak oil, because you're supposed to oil them, so they leak oil a little bit sometimes, and it stays right in the plastic bin instead of all over the place. This one really looks pretty, but again, it is it's a great idea, but it still might be a waste of a drawer. I'm okay right now because I don't really have anything else to put in it, but it looks pretty, it's organized. This was intended to be the stuff I don't go to that often, and it's still that way. Ever since I've done this, the only time I've really opened it is to show you guys. So that may become something else, I don't know. And this one was always intended to be a junk drawer, and that's still what it is. Now my tool bench wall, everything about this I really like. I go to this section almost every time that I'm out here, whether it's for screwdrivers or wrenches down there, or whether it's you know, pulling out a sled for my table saw, or this drawer almost every day, you know, fasteners, screws, stuff like that, nails, and my sockets down here. So everything ratchet related, it's in there. So those two drawers I go to quite often. The bottom drawer is all junk. That's what it was meant to be, and that's what it is. Now the tall locker cabinet I go to all the time, every time I'm out here. You know, I'm getting glue, I'm getting, you know, paint or finish or, you know, whatever. WD-40 I use quite a bit. I use that all the time, so that was a great addition in my opinion. Now this is one of those sections that I still haven't really made up my mind. I'm finding myself going more and more to the little hand saws and chisels and little files. Finding myself going more and more to that stuff, and for that reason I'm glad that it's easily accessible and it's right here. The real problem I got with it is still not my everyday use. So it's I don't know if it's worth having them right here, at least for me in my shop. I do like that the door kind of separates and kind of closes off some of the stuff that I really don't use every day. Like my grinder, I don't use that every day. Some of these fancy clamps I don't use every day. And some of this stuff is just thrown up here because it's out of the way, you know. My Forstner bits I use quite often, so I'm glad those are right next to my drill. Really the main thing in this that I go to almost every day when I'm in the shop is the tape, the push sticks, my table saw inserts, stuff like that. The rest of the stuff I can still live with being in a drawer out of the way. Kind of sorry about the angle, but really this kind of explains a whole lot of stuff in one shot, I guess. What I'm calling the island of the shop, you know, I got the table saw, the bandsaw, the planer and the sander all in this center section. And the bandsaw and the table saw I definitely use a lot more than the planer and the sander, but the planer and the sander is starting to become you know, a every project type situation anymore. I really like that cart, but it's just big. It's too big for my shop. So I'm thinking about redesigning that. And I'm actually, and I think I've said this in the last 3 shop update videos, still considering making the outfeed table a little smaller so I can shove this whole stuff closer to the garage door. Still haven't decided, but I think I'm going to do that sometime. The clamp rack, I like the clamp rack. I like that it holds everything that I need, and I haven't really bought any new clamps in a long time. This pretty much covers everything I need. Occasionally I need an extra long K-body, but I got 3 of them, and for the most part that takes care of what I need it to take care of. Back in the corner, way back in the corner that you may not be able to see, is my lathe, and nothing over there has changed. So I know this is a strange angle, right? The epoxy floor, somebody bought me some epoxy floor paint for my garage a couple years ago for Christmas, and it sat in this closet forever, and I was afraid it was going to go bad, and it almost did. It took me a little while to mix it up to make it work, but what I did was used it in this closet to see if I'd like it in the main part of the garage. So you can see the new in the closet. I even put the flakes down and everything. So I painted the whole closet with the new paint, and then you can tell the difference between my garage shop floor and the new epoxy paint. It's a big difference. So I think in the future, the garage shop floor will be this right here. And I'm hoping to do that next spring or summer. Another addition that I made this year was I bought my wife a new sweeper, and that was mostly so I could use the old sweeper out in the shop. And let me tell you, it's worth it. Alright, that's probably going to be the last video of the year for me. A lot of things I need to change about myself as far as the way I work. Some minor little things that I want to change for the shop just to make work a little bit better and easier. But nothing majorly overhaul that I need to do. For the most part, all the tools and storage things that I have, I like the location for the most part. So that's pretty much it as far as that goes. This stuff you'll see in the spring. I've already started the video for that. Follow me on Instagram. You can kind of see some of the behind the scenes stuff on this, and you can kind of put two and two together what this and what I'm doing for the spring. So all my viewers and subscribers and everybody that's left me comments and thumbs ups, thank you so much. That really helps with YouTube. Thank you again for sticking with this video, and this is going to be probably my last video for the year unless something quick and easy comes up. So until then, I guess I'll see you in 2020 with some new content. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As always, I'll see you next time.